All right, everyone, what is up? I'm so happy to have you all back for another week of just amazing comic talk. It is so much fun doing this every single week. Um, Let me know what you guys have been up to. It's definitely a ton of fun to hear from you guys. It's so much fun to share with you guys what I've been doing lately. But before we get into anything, I want to just preface this with this might upset some people. This might get some people angry with what we're going to talk about, but at the same time, that's life. We got to sometimes break a few eggs to make an omelet. And without any further stalling, let's go check out that intro. All right. So, again, we're going to be talking about some really cool stuff. Let's see. One of the biggest things that I love to do is welcome everyone who is here. Cray Cray for Comics, good to see you. Who did that? I'm guessing you're talking about the intro, and the intro was done by C-List E-Man. If you want to do one for your own channel, check him out on Instagram. He is definitely the guy to go check out. Unfortunately, Ryan couldn't be here tonight. Alex will be joining us in a second, but I do just kind of want to talk about what we're going to be talking about. So first things first, we are going to be talking about some really cool stuff. One of the biggest things being the fact that James Tynion, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, is departing DC Comics in November. He will finish out his run of the Joker until April. And we also want to talk about comic creators only earning $5,000 when their story made it into the MCU for Marvel. And it was actually released very recently that DC didn't get a lot of people to get paid. But before any of that, let's talk to Alex. Alex, how have you been, buddy?
Hello, I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing good. Free comic book days tomorrow. I'm so excited for it.
Same.
Retro Recollectibles will be there. If you guys have not checked them out yet, that is sellingcomics.com. I'm going to put that in the chat so you guys can go see what he'll be selling tomorrow. And if you're in the Rochester area, Rochester, New York, you guys can come check him out at Rhino's Comics, who is my local comic book shop. You know, I always got to drop that link too. Rhino's Comics. It's always fun. Not Venom. I wish Venom sold my comics. That would be kind of fun. But Rhino's Comics, my local comic shop. Again, it is the wonderful free comic book day tomorrow. There's a lot of cool things going on all across the country in different comic shops. I'm so excited to be a part of that and to be able to bring my family there. So we're going to be going there and checking it out. What about you, Alex? What's new with you?
Not much. I'm really excited for Free Comic Book Day, mainly because I didn't go to it last year because one COVID, and plus I didn't know they were releasing them out like later that year in August, so I didn't know they were doing that. Yeah. So I missed out on some of them. Luckily, I was able to get a couple from my local comic book shop that still had some back issues. Yeah, I'm really excited. I don't think my local comic shop is doing anything special. Like maybe they might have a sale, but I just know when I was living in Goleta, which is next to Santa Barbara, our comic book store would bring in people like special guests. Like one of them was, I think, the CEO of Bongo Comics.
Okay.
I remember I got and the writer for The Simpsons too, and for the comic books, and the artist for the Simpsons comic books. I remember he came over. I got his autograph. And one of the writers of Deadpool, Gary Dugan, I think, yeah.
Very cool.
I got a picture with him. He signed my comic book of Deadpool, so I was happy. But yeah, I don't think we have anything special going on. And I know they will have like a 50% off store wide sale.
Oh, that's awesome.
I know, but this one, I think our comic book shop is a little bit is newer. Actually, yeah, because it celebrated a 1 year anniversary.
Okay.
The other comic book shop that is already been established over here. I checked their website out. They're not doing anything special, really. They're just giving the books out. So I hope, well, I'll have to see with the one I've been going to, which is the new one. Hopefully they have some discounts, or maybe they might have a special guest. That'd be cool. But if not, I'll be just happy with the comic books. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to it.
for sure. Anything you're looking to pick up? Any free comic books strike your fancy more than another?
The Avengers one, I can't remember the name. Let me look it up. I know Key
The one with
Collector.
Hulk on the cover?
Yeah, the Key Collector
Yeah,
app and the Hulk one seemed really nice. And I think there was an X-Men title too that caught my
I
eye.
believe so.
Yeah, because I know a lot of cool covers. Oh yeah, the Suicide Squad King Shark one
Oh, yeah.
caught my eye, and Batman #1 looks really cool.
There's a lot of them this year. I feel like in years past, it's been about half or maybe even 3/4 of what they're doing this year. But
Yeah,
when I looked it up, I was um, actually a little shocked because it only shows like a little bit of them, and then you got to scroll down even more, and it starts
yeah,
talking about all the other ones. And then when I saw them as my LCS was doing their Facebook Live today, it kind of like his whole table was full, and it's like 8 foot pop table, and I'm like, books all coming out for free comic book day. That's amazing.
yeah.
And it's go ahead.
Oh, I said yeah. It seems like there's a lot more this year. I realized that when I was looking through the
Yeah,
previews, and it's like I looked like a month ago, and I was like, oh, cool. But now it seems like they added more to the list, and I find that really cool. Looks like I'm gonna have a really big old bag this year.
yeah. And how many books is your LCS limited to, like per person?
One.
Okay.
From all the comic book shops that I've been to, there's always been one. Like I know I've been to the one in San Francisco. Up, not one up here in Santa Barbara, and there was another one I went to in California. They always limit
Okay.
one, and I don't know. Like, do they let you pick up more than one copy for you?
So at my LCS, they allow you to have two.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, we get to pick out two. So my wife and I, obviously, we have a different taste. She's a Harley Quinn, Black Cat, sometimes Catwoman fan. So she kind of leans that way. And then I'm obviously the Spidey fan, and I lean more in that direction. So we're kind of on separate sides of the spectrum, but at the same time, how's it going, dude? Talking Comics. Good to see you.
Hey, dude, talking comments.
It's one of those things where it's like it's perfect because then I get to get a whole array of what's there for free comic book day. And then my son always picks one out. Our shop owner is absolutely phenomenal with kids. He's got kids of his own and whatnot who are all grown now. So when he sees like little kids walk in, he's like, wow, this is awesome. I get to see like a whole new generation of comic fans. So that's like one of the biggest things that he loves about being a comic shop owner. One of the things that I saw Fredonia Blue Devil 79 talking about was that it's 20 years. And I wasn't sure what he meant, but it's 20 years of free comic book day. That's amazing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like I saw that I knew about it like earlier this year because I looked it up. I was like, I'm not going to miss it this year because I thought it was in May. It's really funny because I have a Fantastic Four comic book calendar that one of the comic book shops gave me. It's really funny because the first Saturday in May says free comic book day. I was like, oh God, please don't tell me I missed it. But no, then I looked it up. It's like, it's in August this year. Yeah, it's 20 years of Free Comic Book Day. So that's
Yeah.
cool. Like they said that comic book shops would be having different things, or that there should be an activity. I think that's what I
Yeah.
read, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there is a secret activity or something. Maybe they have limited edition posters. Who knows?
Venom, my jam. So I
Yeah.
did pull it up so that I could kind of share with everyone who hasn't seen this yet. It's really cool. The different comics that are going to be coming out for Free Comic Book Day. And if your LCS isn't like mine, where they kind of show it off, so they've split it this year. And I don't know if they've done it in years past, because I haven't really focused on it in years past. And obviously with COVID last year, we didn't really have a major one. So they split it up into the gold comics. So this was that Hulk one that you were talking about, with Donnie Cates as the writer, and it's exclusive original material. So I'm pretty certain this is the very first time that Donnie Cates is going to be writing something Hulk. And I'm very excited for this. This is definitely going to be on my list to pick up as well. And this will be one that my wife won't be interested in.
Yeah.
So it
Oh
works
yeah.
out perfect.
I meant to say like since there's only one, I'm bringing my sister with me. She agreed to go with me so she could get double comics. And usually
There
I
you
just
go.
I get everything just in case. Like especially now, like when I started free comic book, not free comic book, when I started collecting comics again, I didn't know some of the comic books were some of the free comic book days were kind of up there in price.
Yeah.
Like I know like one of them I have is with Savage, Darth
Okay.
Maul's apprentice. I didn't know that one was going up for like over $20. Like, oh wow. But I only have one copy, so
Yeah.
I'm keeping it. So I
Craziness.
told my sister, it's like just get everything just in case, just in case.
Yeah, the speculator market was already in full force with
Is
this
Enter the
book.
Slaughter is that oh yeah, that's the one. Isn't that
Yep.
the one the spin-off of Something's Killing the Children?
So it's James Tynion the Force, so that's why I brought it up. And I don't know if it's big because of what's going to happen with him, or if it's just big because it's Something is Killing the Children. But it's to introduce the Slaughterverse that James Tynion the Fourth is actually going to be starting to build. And Something is Killing the Children is now, like, the issue 1 is now on, I want to say it's 6th printing, maybe even working on its 7th printing now. And Enter the House of Slaughter does get listed as reprint material. So I don't think that it's going to be a whole new book. I think it's going to be mainly an old book with some new stuff in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a reprint of one of the earlier issues, and then probably like the last few pages is like, oh, a sneak peek of probably unfinished art, maybe like just sketching or colored art that's colored and everything, just but no dialogue.
This is what we wanted to give you, but Boom wouldn't let us, so we're gonna attach it into this.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's probably gonna be because I've seen some comic books do that. I
Yeah.
always find that fun.
At my local comic shop, because of the speculation behind this, they've already started to price this free comic book as, I think it was listed for $5 or $10. That's how big the hype is behind this book.
So you'll get 2 copies?
I wish I could, but I think it might be one that my wife actually might be interested in. She's more of the horror fan and the thriller fan, so I think that might be something that she might like. Another one that I'm guessing she'll probably want to pick up is this Star Wars. But that's also one we might pick up for our son if Chet allows us to.
Investigators seemed pretty funny.
Yeah, and that was the other one too.
I saw that one. I was like, I just want to get it because 1, it looks cute, and 2, I was like, I want to see how that goes. I want to see how that plays out.
Yeah. So We Live is the other one, and it's We Live Last Days. So that's the other one I'm definitely going to be picking up. We Live is one of those books that I'm a huge fan of. I'm trying to make time to actually meet with the creators, the Miranda brothers, and have them on the channel. And I've read their trade paperback of We Live. It is a phenomenal book.
I need to get
It,
that.
it's so good. It was so worth the little bit extra to pay for the trade. I honestly wish I would have gotten like all the first issues and whatnot, but it's a perfect book. It's so amazing. I can't wait to read.
I heard a lot
Last
of
Days.
great things.
Yeah.
He heard a lot of great things about it. And a fun fact, I remember I was talking to someone because I misread the title. I read it as 12, like 12 without the T. Because at
Mm-hmm.
first glance, that would look like to me. And plus, like the
Yeah.
We Live looks kind of like close to each other. Like, I have good eyesight, but I just remember seeing like first glance, like, because the only time I ever seen it was on like comic book auctions on YouTube.
Yep.
I remember coming by when I went to my LCS, like, hey, do you guys have Welve? It's like, what? Then it's like, oh, it's We Live. It's like, oh man, felt
Yeah,
so embarrassed.
I could not figure out because, like you said, because of the text, I couldn't figure out what they were trying to do. And he, when I was watching Mark, he's like, "Oh, We Live was a phenomenal book," and I'm like, "Oh, that's what it's called. Interesting."
Yeah.
It reminds me of that band from way back in
Gorillas?
the 90s, 2000s. What was it?
Gorillas?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because right when you said that, then I look at the art, it's like, wait a minute, it looks like Gorilla style.
Yeah. It looks like almost every single one of their music videos that were just on point back in the day. I loved
Yeah.
watching their music videos.
Yeah, it is really good art. I always like the art style of the Gorillas.
Yeah. Never a huge fan of their music, but their art was good.
Yeah. I only listened to Feel Good Inc., that album.
Okay.
And that one I liked. Anything else I didn't hear after that. But yeah.
And I might have to
The
bring my
Rosa Parks
mother-in-law.
one seems
Go ahead.
interesting. Oh, the Rosa Parks comic book.
Yeah, that was
I
interesting.
I find it interesting that they're putting it because it's like something. It's like something I'm talking about in my dissertation. Not specifically Rosa Parks, but the fact that they're putting how comic books should spread important information to younger audiences
Yeah,
and to people who are not fortunate enough to go to school. Like they could put important events into comic books. That's like a very brief thing of what I'm talking about. There's much more in my dissertation, but just the fact that they're putting this important historical event in a comic book for everyone to see,
for sure.
like it is a prime example of something going on. And I found that, and I find it really interesting. Like this could be for anyone, adults
Yep.
and children alike.
Yeah. No, 100%. Being a teacher of inner city kids, if there's any of this left over at my local comic shop, I'm going to ask if I can donate them to a school I used to work at and then also the school that I'm currently working at. Because this book, if it's anything like what it looks like and anything like what they're talking about
Yeah,
in this little few sentences, this could be a really great way for kids to learn about history. I mean,
yeah,
I've always loved the way that comics have kind of portrayed history, and there's some really cool books out there that really dive into history a little bit better
yeah.
than what other books do. So
I
it'll be
agree.
interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, it'd be like a good entry way because maybe like if like the kids, children's like, oh, this is interesting. I want to learn more about this.
Yeah,
They can look more, and I hope that they put like sources at the end of this comic. Say if you want to learn more, go here or check these out.
for sure. And as it shows, it says preview material. So I'm guessing that this is going to be full
Like a trade paperback kind of style.
either a trade or maybe it will be we're going to do Montgomery bus boycott, then we're going to do a different person or a different part of Rosa
Oh,
Parks'
that'd be
life.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Like
like each
different
year maybe pick a
historical.
different one.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That
Either
would be
each
really. That would be really amazing.
Yeah,
As a historian, that would be really cool to have a comic book series just dedicated to different historical events.
for sure.
Like most likely, if we do that, most likely it's probably U.S. history. But hopefully, it becomes like if it has great success, maybe you do world history. That'd be really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see it, whether they do a different civil rights person each month or a different just historian or historical character each month, or maybe stick with one kind of theme for a year, do 12 issues and then switch to a new one. It does look like it's an independent, an official Who HQ book, and I really don't know who that is. I've never heard of them before, so definitely be interesting to see what all happens out of this.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what goes down after that.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wait. It's Penguin Workshop for me.
what was that?
For on here. It says on the key collector. It says the thing is Penguin Workshop for the
Okay.
publisher. And I was right. I was having an instinct in my head. It's part of the Penguin Publishing
Oh, cool.
um, companies.
The
Oh, so that
artwork looked familiar.
yeah. So I think they might do a series with this. Like
Yeah.
since it's done by Penguin Books, if it's one of the side
Oh,
companies,
yep. I see that right
then
here.
I can see that. Yeah, it can definitely turn into sort of like what we were talking about, what it could be.
Yeah.
Because Penguin does a lot of educational stuff.
100%. It would be absolutely amazing to see where it could all go. I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan, never read the comics. But if you are an Assassin's Creed fan out there, this might be the book to pick up. It looks like it has some pretty good artwork in it. Nothing fancy, nothing stellar. But looks like it's two comics in one. So you have Dynasty as the first comic, and then Valhalla Blood Brothers is the second one. And both of them are preview material, so most likely leading into an Assassin's Creed game and whatnot, just to kind of introduce a new characters and new games and all of that.
Did you ever play the games?
I love the games. I am a huge fan. I have a Connor statue from Assassin's Creed 3. I've got the steel book for Assassin's Creed 3. I went all out for it. I was so excited with what they did with Assassin's Creed 2 and the whole Ezio trilogy that I was like, okay, 3 is going to be amazing. And then I didn't go as all out for Assassin's Creed 4 with Black Flag. I kind of wish I did, because it was a phenomenal game. I didn't like where they kind of went after the French Revolution. I felt like that kind of fell flat. And then with Origins, it kind of like picked up again and it caught my interest again.
Yeah,
I still to this day have not finished the French Revolution game because I could not get into it.
Which one was the one where they were doing the Spartans? That one seemed really interesting for me.
Which one?
Didn't they do one with Sparta? Assassin's Creed?
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That one looked really cool.
Yeah.
I never played the games, but I've seen the walkthroughs.
In all honesty, the way that Assassin's Creed is played really made me love and fall in love with God of War for the PS4, the new version. And I was just like on cloud nine when I started playing it, because it reminded me of like the old school Assassin's Creeds, where it was kind of, it's open world, but it's not true open world. And it was just so much fun to play it. I can't wait to dive further into God of War when they come out with the next one.
Oh, the important question is, did you watch the movie? I heard a lot of mixed reviews about that.
Of Assassin's Creed? I have never watched the movie. I didn't watch it because, one, I didn't want to pay to go see it in theaters when I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, and I didn't want it to ruin the video games for me. But I am at some point going to watch it. I did start watching it once without knowing. It was just on TV, and I turned it, I think it was on FX or something, and I was captivated by it. I mean, the cinematography was great, but I don't even know where I could find it now. It's so weird how, with all the streaming services and whatnot, it's hard to find DVDs and Blu-rays of these movies that have been coming out lately.
I'm pretty sure if you want the DVD, you can do Amazon maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Oh wait, Hulu. It's on Hulu.
Oh.
Yeah, I
I'll
just
have to
looked
go
it up.
watch it after this.
It's pretty cool because like on now like new Google stuff, you say where to watch, it shows you where you can watch it. It's always like guessing.
Oh yeah,
Because before I used to always guess like where can I watch this, but now it's like now you have all these other stuff. I
Yep.
was like, oh sweet. So yeah, it's on Hulu if you want to watch it.
So these were the gold comics. Just getting back to the free comic
Yeah.
book day. We've been talking about it for about 15 minutes now. I think it's been maybe. Oh, it's actually been longer. It's half an hour.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. No worries. I love having these conversations where they just go off where they need to go. So then it got into Silver Comics, and I don't know that they've ever split this up before.
Yeah,
So
I've seen them split some stuff up.
okay,
I think they've always done it, like different tier comics.
yeah,
I've always remember like looking on the free comic book website, like gold, silver, bronze. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, but I like. Does that mean like I always like kind of got confused? So why they did that? It wasn't until much later. Well, yeah, much later. I was like, it's probably like the big comics and what people will want,
yeah.
and into lower tier. Yeah.
So is there anything from the Silver tier that kind of caught your eye that you were like, yes, I have to pick that up?
Well, the Spider-Man one and the comic guide was really cool, and that red, not that red, that yellow cover up above, um,
This
the
one?
black cow. Yeah, just for some reason, just the cover alone made me want to. It
Yeah.
seemed interesting. Kind of reminds me of like a toxic sign, like a toxic waste sign
Oh,
for
for
some
sure.
reason. Like that's what caught me. Is like, huh, this might be something.
And that's another one that's exclusive original content, which is always interesting because it's like, okay, if it's exclusive original content, is it going to give us something that we're never going to see again? Is it going to give us something that's going to be a major key? Like we saw that with Amazing Spider-Man, I think it was 2 years ago in 2019, or no, it was actually last year with Virus,
Hmm.
where Virus was introduced in a free comic book day edition and no one knew. And then the people started grading them and the grades started to go through the roof, and or not the grades, the prices started to go through the roof. I think at one point it was like $150 for a free comic book that you could have just went to your local comic shop, picked up for free, and graded it yourself. It's interesting how that ends up happening.
Yeah.
And like I said, the speculation market the past year has gone crazy. That probably would have been one that comic shops were like, we got to make a little money off of this because we're losing some money here.
Yeah.
That's why they do the sales, because if you're just coming in to get a free comic, what's the point?
Yeah. Yeah, this one. Oh, yeah, I remember the description of this is when black people only black people have superpowers,
Huh.
and I found that interesting. It's like, huh, like one
Yeah.
ethnicity, one race has superpowers.
And it's another comic where you got side A, the first story, and then side B. So Cal
Yeah.
Exit, Hollywood Babylon, California refused to be ruled by the U.S. government. Its
Oh
resistance
crap.
fighters became overnight celebrities.
Well, my state. Let's hope this doesn't come true. Now I really want to watch it now. I mean, not watch it, read it now. I was like, let's see what happens if my state really does exist.
In all honesty, I feel like that would be more likely to be Texas than California.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, if anything, it'd probably be Texas. And the overstreet pricing guy, like maybe I've never got one of those books because they're kind of pricey. So maybe they put
Okay.
like some comics in there. That's why I thought that was cool that they have it on Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah. Another one that my wife will probably pick up is this one, Star Wars: The High Republic, Edge of Balance. It's
Oh
another
yeah.
one that has a really nice cover. It looks like it's a
Hopefully,
two-parter. You've got High
hopefully it's that
Republic.
cover.
What was
It
that?
says not final art.
Well, yeah, it won't be the true cover, but I mean, just the
Yeah.
artwork on
Yeah.
this,
Like I
the
hope
way
it
that
is.
she's drawn. Yeah, no, I hope so too.
That'll be a cool cover. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it is preview material, so hopefully a preview for High Republic. That's actually what I was reading right before we got on, was High Republic #7. Trying to figure out what the hype was behind it. I love this cover. It's a really interesting cover. Just trying to see like what was so special about it. It looked like there's a brand new Sith about to make his mark, and I can't wait to finish reading it. It's one of those
Yeah.
books
I
that
need
I'm
to pick
not a
up my
huge fan
copy.
of. I'm not a huge fan of High Republic, in all honesty. Not really a huge fan of Star Wars comics in the grand scheme of things. It's one of those books that have always kind of eluded my collection. I've got a few like true believers that are Star Wars comics, but I think in total, I want to say I have maybe 5.
Mm.
So I think this will be the 5th. But yeah, I don't read Star Wars that often. I love Star Wars. My dad is a huge Star Wars fan. I feel like that if he got back into comics, Star Wars would be one of the first things he picks up. But it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's always just never captured me. When I look at the covers, they're great. I don't really pick up books for just the writer or the artist. Donnie Cates is probably one of the only writers that I'll definitely pick up his book just because I love reading his stories.
Mm.
I can't wait until his run of Hulk comes out because, again, he's one that I'll read no matter what he's writing. I picked up Crossover because he was writing it. I was reading his Venom run at the time, but it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, like I'm the same. I was the same way. I'm really read the Like I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Never read the comics. I did read the books though, but yeah, it's until recently that I started reading the Star Wars comics. Mainly because like well, I picked some up from like when I first started collecting comics again. Because I like the covers. I didn't read them yet, but I really started reading Star Wars again. Is when the War of the Bounty Hunters came out. Like,
Okay.
like I had Star Wars comic books before then, but I just never read them yet. Always planned to. But yeah, but I started reading it. It's like, and then I started getting into it. Then I started reading High Republic. Yeah, I guess it's like a joke for me to spark my interest. I think mainly because it was going to be like a series around Boba Fett.
Yeah,
Because I think Boba Fett's a really cool character.
for sure.
But yeah, but I know what you mean by like they never really grabbed you the comics.
And that's the thing. Like, I bought my dad the Thrawn book. It's like the novel. It's like this thick.
Oh
He
yeah,
loved it, and it was just one of those things where it's like the books are phenomenal. They're
yeah,
doing great, but the comics have just, like I said, they've never captured my interest to the point where I'm like, I'm going to pick up a Star Wars book for my dad.
yeah, yeah. I remember when the Thrawn book came out. I really do remember when that book came out because it was all over the shelves in
Yeah.
Barnes and Noble. I never got it. I should have. I should have got the hardcover.
I've got so many Star Wars books that I'm going to inherit when he dies. That's pretty much the only go-to that I can do for Christmas gifts and birthday gifts that I know that he'll enjoy.
Nice. Those are amazing gifts.
Yeah. Tom Clancy and Star Wars are his 2 go-tos.
Ooh, nice. Just imagine if Tom Clancy writes a Star Wars book.
Oh yeah, he'd be all over it. I think he'd marry Tom Clancy. So I was just reading this Star Wars: The Edge of Balance. It looks like it's another 2-part comic, or 2-story comic, I should say. And Guardian of the Will introduces Baze and Chirrut before they meet the rebellion members. If I'm correct in saying, and based off this up here, the Force is with me and I'm one with the Force, Chirrut is the one that's blind, right? And
I think so,
Rogue One? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that should be a really cool comic.
I looked that up just to make sure.
That should be a really cool comic. I don't know if it's their very first time they're going to be in a comic or whatnot, but
Yes,
it
it
should
is.
be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's their first time that's going to be in a comic, but that should be a really cool comic to read, to be able to meet those characters before Rogue One. They were one of the,
Yeah.
or two of the characters that kind of made Rogue One what it was, where you got to see a rebellion being born and just how it was kind of in the shadows for a little while, and what was going on. That should be fun to
Yeah.
read.
I really wanted to see more of his character
Yeah,
because like after the Jedi Purge, that's what it's supposed to take place. Like he's still practicing that, and it's
for
like
sure.
I wanted to see more of him. I was sad that he died. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So
It,
like this is really cool that he's going to be in a comic.
uh, as much as it sucks that we lost so many amazing characters in that movie, I feel
Okay.
like the fact that we lost the characters made that movie what it was. I feel like it was
Yeah.
just a really great comic, or a really great movie, because the bad guys won, or the bad guys won, but they lost in the long run because of a sacrifice that the good guys made.
Oh yeah. It's such a giant sacrifice that
Yeah.
we only heard about. Like it alluded to like in the very first Star Wars movie, the original was like a lot of people died for this information,
Yep.
and then to actually see it, it's like it's one thing to hear it, but it's another thing to like see it like go down. It's like for me, I think it hit harder and like made it really like sink in. Like oh wow, like in this universe, that's what happened to those, and I loved it how like it was immediately after, like it was supposed to take place immediately before A New Hope.
Yeah. Like everything that's happening in New Hope is in the works in this, and it's
Yeah.
perfect.
This is a really cool cover, by the way, The Amazing Spider-Man.
This is, and it's a Gleason cover. So, I mean,
Oh, nice. I was kind of
if you
thinking
know
that when I
anything
saw the
about
web.
me, Gleason is one of my favorite artists right now. I've been trying to get an interview with him on the show. I know that it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but I just keep reposting stuff of his and posting it to my Instagram and just kind of like throwing it in there. Like, this would be a really cool person to interview. I would really enjoy it.
So if
It would
anyone in
be
the chat,
really fun.
if anyone in the chat has a hookup or knows somebody who has a hookup to Gleason, have them check this channel out.
So, real quick, that Archie promo that's off in the right hand corner,
Oh,
that might be a really cool book. My buddy actually has been reading a lot of Archie and completing his father's run of Archie, and I
oh, nice.
believe my mother-in-law was a huge Archie fan, so maybe I should bring her, and then I'll get 2 more free comics. She'll get an Archie book and she can get me one of mine. That's the way to do it, right? Just bring everyone to the shop.
Yeah, just do that.
So you were saying you really like this cover. What do you like about it?
I don't know. It's just like Venom. Like the coloring. I really love the colors of like the bottom. It's like a light purple, pinkish, and it's matching
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's like supposed to be Spider-Man's color, and mainly because if you mix blue and red, it's purple. Then up above, it's gray, contrast with Venom's black, and there's a little bit of white. I like that. It's like the background and the webbing is really cool, and of course Venom's like all bulging out.
Oh yeah, for
And you can
sure.
see like Spider-Man looks like he's worried, like, oh my God, what's happening? I was not expecting this.
Yeah, and again, I love that it's exclusive material. I love that it's brand new. Um, it's one of those books that I feel like is just gonna really do something fun. And the
Yeah.
fact that it's Al Ewing, he's a great writer, and I Brian Hitch is the artist. I don't think I've read anything with Brian as the artist. I've definitely read stuff with Al as the writer. Um, but like you said, this cover is just perfect. It's got every little thing. It's got Spidey versus Venom, light versus dark, red versus black, like everything that could go on in this is going on in it, and it's such a cool way that they did this cover that it makes me very excited for this comic.
Yeah, it's like a less is more approach.
Yeah.
It's like a very simple background, and it just shows them too. I like how they put Venom also smack in the middle. Like it
Yep.
looks like it was like you say perfectly in the middle. And so is Spider-Man almost.
And I like where the title is too. It's a very interesting placement for the title.
Yeah, because you think it would be like a little bit up, like or like right underneath
Yeah.
the Free Comic Book Day. So I like that. Like before you said it was a Gleason cover, like I was kind of thinking that right before you said it because I saw the webbing. Like that kind of reminds me of the Amazing Spider-Man.
And no one draws webbing like he does.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, you will pick up that reprint Venom 200?
I already have so many Venom 200s. I don't think so.
Oh, because it's a the Gleason blue variant. It's like I thought that was pretty cool.
The only thing that sucks about it is it's $10 for a comic.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Typically a cover buy, I'll be okay with going $6. My wife, on the other hand, will be okay going a little bit more, like with a Black Label book. These ones this one's $6, this Black Label, but a lot of like the Harleen books, this one was a total cover buy for her. She saw it, she goes, I don't have that. I'm like, you have 2 of those. She goes, but I don't have that cover. And that was an $8 cover buy.
I like how it's like specified, but I don't have that cover. It's like,
yeah,
fair point.
But yeah, like this is a perfect cover. And yeah, when it comes to Gleason, no one draws webbing the way that he does. It's so cool how he does it, and I'm pretty sure that he paints a lot of his stuff first too. So like that, just having that medium as your go-to. I know Alex Ross did that for all of his white background covers.
The timeless
the timeless variants. And I don't know, there's something about a plain cover with a really great scene that just makes me want to buy a book more. There's so many covers that just take away from the action that's happening because the background is so convoluted.
Yeah. Like I agree, like even though like some of those covers are beautiful, like a lot of detail and everything.
Yeah.
It's something about like just like you were saying, I agree with you, the plain covers, the simple covers just get me. Like I love it.
For sure. Like not that it detracts from the cover, not that it messes up the book. This is another one. Like, yeah, this isn't the final cover, but I mean, the reason why it stands out so much on that page of a bunch of comics is because you have one character who's the main focal point with a very simple background.
Yeah. And I love that you use the greens in this one, like those 3 shades of green, right? The emblem is green, right? Or is that blue?
This little emblem around the 1.
Yeah, is that
dark? It's almost like a greenish blue.
Okay, so yeah, like different greens, like the lightsabers and the border and the that. Like I really love that contrast with the darker brownish colors because she's like, yeah, it looks like she's all brown, all different shades of brown, even her skin tone. I don't know. I just thought that was really cool because you don't really see those colors mixed together, especially with the light green, the bright green of the lightsabers.
Yeah, it brings out every little bit of those lightsabers. And I didn't notice like when I first looked at it, but they're very different lightsabers. They're almost like a samurai type of hilt. And it just
so like
cool.
A katana blade.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
Getting back to the whole point of tonight, I know we got off topic for a little while. Definitely, we're 50 minutes in, and we've been talking a lot about Free Comic Book Day, so let's continue to talk about that with James Tynion the Fourth. So some big news came out this week. I think it was like Wednesday or Tuesday when I texted you and Ryan. Let's research this and talk about this.
I have the article up.
Yeah, I've never heard of Substack until I read that article.
Same. I was like thinking, like, what's Substack?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what this is.
So from the sound of it, it's a completely digital platform. There's no print comics, and it's a place where comic artists like James Tynion, the author or the writer of Something is Killing the Children, Nice House on the Lake. He's currently writing Batman. He's been writing the Joker. He gets full creative control to write whatever he wants.
And also Department of Truth, I think.
Yeah, Department of Truth. And not only does he get to write whatever he wants, he gets to keep the material. Like it's his. That's huge for a creator.
Yeah, I was thinking that when he said that they won't take any money from him.
Yeah.
I think he says, with Substack taking none of the intellectual property rights or even the publishing rights.
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool. Like, I don't know, it's like with books or comic books or like anything, usually if you're the creator, you don't get sole rights to the thing because you have to pay the company who publishes it or anything, or like with movies, the new films and everything. But when I read that, I was like, wow, that's really cool. And then as I was reading it, I was like, oh wait, how much is it going to cost? And then the next paragraph was, it's cost $7 a month. I was thinking, for someone of this caliber with only $7 a month, that seems like a good price. Because you probably he could have easily charged, let's say like $20 a month if he really wanted to be that. If he really wanted to be that person, and he has every right to.
Yep.
Like $20 because every right even wants to I do all these, I'm established, I can do this. But no, he's giving people a chance to see his and also every right too, because you'll be creating original material. Yeah. So he's giving people a chance to have it to subscribe for $7 a month. It's affordable. Someone can do that, and I think that's really cool.
For sure. Before I say anything, this just got me. Keep bugging Pat. You never know what might happen, either a restraining order or an interview.
Or both. Who knows?
Or both.
Depends how the interview goes.
Yeah. No, but for sure, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I can understand where James is coming from. I get it. And then when I saw that so many creators just don't get their work kind of respected enough, I guess is the best way to put it, that they're being given $5,000 for a story that's being used in a movie by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, or not even corporation, but a franchise of movies. 23 movies, $23 billion. That's crazy. And then I saw on Instagram that Alex Ross and Mark Waid were not compensated for the use of their character designs in Wonder Woman 1984, and they were not compensated for the TV event Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. It shocks me. These creators should get paid a lot more because it's their intellectual property. They came up with it, whether it's dialogue or storyline or imagery. We wouldn't have these without them. They should get more credit, and sadly they don't. I'm pretty sure like big companies will justify it as, well, yes, you have it, but these actors are actually putting the work in to act out your vision, so
yeah.
they need to get paid more. And we are producing what you have created, what you have created into a bigger thing. So that's
Yep.
why you're only getting this much.
And I mean, yes, we're looking like that $23 billion. I believe that figure came from the box office sales. So that doesn't put into consideration how much money went into making the movie. That doesn't put into consideration how much like the box office took, all of those figures. So yeah, it's probably not 23 billion that the movies have made in of themselves, but at the same time, $5,000 compared to whatever that number might be after everything is all said and done is a small number.
Yeah, especially like I think what we were talking about a couple of shows ago. It's like once you get the taxes in, is way less
Yeah,
than $5,000.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
you look at your paycheck and you see that you got paid 5,000, but you're really only getting 3,300 or whatever it ends up being.
yeah, because depending on where you live and the tax,
Yeah.
state tax, federal tax, there's like two taxes I take out for your paycheck.
So, and when I saw that, I commented on it and I said, now what I'm confused on, when we talk about a creator, are we talking about just the writer? Are we talking about just the artist? Because if you're paying a writer 5,000, an artist 5,000, a letterer 5,000, the cover artist of that story 5,000, the let's say if you're talking about Thanos, you're talking about the creator of that character as well. You just paid $25,000 because there's 5 creators for this one storyline, and then you do you break it down further than that? If you're using pieces of this like let's say Thanos 13, and then you're also using pieces of Thanos 2, and then you're using something from Silver Surfer Black, are you now paying 15,000 to those writers, to everyone who worked on that comic? Does the editor get a piece of that?
I would hope so. But
Yeah,
thinking about like big corporations probably will nickel and dime you saying, okay, we'll split this $5,000 this many ways.
yeah.
Just for this one character. Actually,
Oh,
that might be the truth.
there were 10 of you who worked on it. Each of you get 500. I don't think that's how they do it, and I doubt that with how Marvel treats their author, or there's writers and their artists. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's I would have to assume that with all the people who want to work for them, they're not treating them like crap. They're not paying them horrible salary. They're not like, these artists aren't starving, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And they're going to comic shows, they're doing signings, like everything that they could possibly be doing, they're getting paid for, I believe. So to get 5,000 per story or per comic, is that a fair amount? Because if a bunch of your stories get used, then you're making a pretty penny. And I mean, yeah, everyone like harps on the creator of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's a billionaire. He didn't set out to be a billionaire when he created Amazon. But if you look at how much Amazon is valued at, like 1.7 trillion, and then you look at how much he has, like he only has 10% of what Amazon is really worth. So it's almost like, okay, what do we want to choose to complain about today? Today we're going to choose to complain about comic creators only getting paid $5,000. Like, they're not hurting for money. Donny Cates is not begging on the street corner because Marvel's not paying him enough. He's coming back and he's doing more. And like James Tynion, the reason why he's leaving, it doesn't seem like he's leaving because of money, because DC won't pay him.
Yeah. I think he wants to leave because he wants to do more.
Yeah.
Like I completely agree with you. Like I completely agree with you with you saying that because when I was reading the article, I got that feeling too. It's like I don't think this is about money. It's not like I think he
No.
just wants more freedom to do whatever he wants.
And that $7 a month per person or per whatever, that's really not that much. I mean, that's 2 comics a month that you're paying for. If he comes out with 2 comics a month, you're paying $3.50 a comic. That's cheaper than
Mhm.
most comics that are on the stands.
Yeah, and if he decides to do three a month, then if it's like, oh, it's a really good steal.
Yeah. I mean, so now here's my question for you, Alex. Do you like digital comics? Like, is this something that you're on board for? If a writer says, I'm only going to write for Substack, or Substack is going to be one of the places where I start releasing more of my comics, are you going to pay that $7 and read it online, or do you still like to have it in your hands?
Well, personally, I don't really like digital stuff. Um, just me personally, I don't even like reading digital books because it's just for me, like I prefer having the actual book.
Yeah.
Like, it just seems much better actually having the comic. I think having an actual comic book in hand for me is a different experience. Um, just seeing like the artwork and the colors is you see them differently with your own eyes as compared to a screen. And also too, like if you're reading it, like sometimes you might not get the same effect because like if your screen's too bright and you have to lower it and you don't get that same effect or anything with the colors. For me
Yeah.
personally, and I also find it easier to concentrate. Not that that's meaning I have a better time. It flows better for me if I'm reading a story or reading anything in hand
Mhm.
and online. I don't know how to explain it, but that's just me. But yeah, like I would rather have the physical copy because then I don't know. Then like it's just something like I also see like as a collectible thing too. Like
Yeah.
you say something like I have like I could pull it out like hey check this out I have this. So I was just looking through my phone. I was like wait hold on let me check this out. But look at this comic. Like it has a much better effect.
Yeah.
Like what it mean? Like if I would have shown you like a cool say like a Moon Knight #1, would you be more impressed that I showed you on my phone or
Yeah.
iPad? Like, hey, look at this. Or if I showed you like, hey, I have this.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather have that book in my hands right now too.
Yeah, yeah. Like
That's one of
it's
my
just
grails.
yeah, it's just a different feeling of
Yeah.
like anything. Like I probably would look. The one time I really look on digital is like if it's for free. Like if I want to like sample something, just to get a feel for it. Because that's what I did with Kanto.
Okay.
I think Kanto was the very first comic I ever read online. It was like a few months ago because I want to see what it's about. And I know they're offering the first one for free on IDW, free
Okay.
download. So I did that. I was like, oh, this is really cool. Then I bought the trade paperback, the first
Yeah.
of the first series. But yeah, that's what I would do it for me personally. Is to like preview something. But I would
Yeah.
very much love to have the physical copy. Like if it's more, then so be it. Like
Same here.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm exactly the same. And there's like Marvel just released that whole like NFT um like downloadable collectibles, and I'm like, why? Like, yeah, you're limiting it to let's say 1500, but who, like you just said, I'm not going to go into my phone and be like, look at this cool statue. I'm like, it's not a statue, it's a picture.
Yeah.
So I'm the same way with comics. I want to have it in my hands. When I was in college, I always needed to have a print version.
Yeah.
When I was doing my master's, I had all digital, just because it was an online program. I liked learning online, and I liked reading the digital format simply to kind of like copy and paste quotes into my papers for stuff. Like that was a huge benefit. But when it comes to reading something for fun, I would much rather come down here, sit down, read a book, and kind of just get away from the world and spend half an hour reading a couple comics and enjoy it that way, because it allows me to enjoy the book. I get, like you said, you get to see the artistry, you get to see every little piece about it. And at the end of the day, you have something to hold in your hands and say, this is mine. Like, this is something really cool. There's comics in my collection that I have stories behind. They're ones that I've found with my wife. There's little stories in different comics that I would love to someday pull out and be like, hey, this really spoke to me in this way.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to have stuff like that. And then, I mean, you can't slab a collectible that's online. You can't save it forever.
You don't want to slap your phone. It's like,
what if your computer crashes?
Like, what if you go into the Dark Ages again?
Yeah. It's not the new Bitcoin, everyone. But yeah, I mean, hats off to James for taking that leap of faith with Substack. And I mean, it seems like it's working out for him. He did say that he's not going to be stepping away from his other stuff. In that article, it was kind of on the forefront of what he was talking about. I'm going to pull it up one more time if I can find it. He had said, this is the best contract I've ever been given in a decade as a professional comic book writer, a grant from Substack to create a new slate of original comic book properties directly on their platform that my co-creators and I would own completely, with Substack taking none of its intellectual property rights or even the publishing rights. And I mean, let's say his books get greenlit for movies or TV shows, just like Something Is Killing the Children has done. Now he has to then go back to those comic creators and say, how much of a piece of the pie am I going to be getting? I created it. I came up with these characters. This is my baby. This is something I've been working on for almost 2 years now. You guys have allowed me to write it with you and with your editors. I deserve to own a majority piece of this. Now, of course, as you said, like, the actors are putting in their time. The director is putting in their time. The crew is putting in their time. So you still have to pay everyone. And if it's on Netflix, I don't even know how Netflix pays their people. I don't know how Amazon pays their people. Like, you're talking about a subscription service. So is it per view, kind of like how YouTube does? I don't really know.
I would think so.
That's what I would think. But I do know, like, when Amazon signed, I don't know if you ever watched Top Gear from UK.
I heard of
it. When they signed Jeremy Clarkson on to be a new host of what they were going to create, the Grand Tour, they gave him $1 million an episode. And I mean, he deserved it. He had been doing this for the better part of a decade.
Wait, US dollars or pounds?
I think $1 million US, so like 1.2 British pounds. So I mean, that's crazy just in of that.
That is crazy.
And that's 1 out of 3 of the main people. And I mean, that was Jeremy Clarkson's brainchild. He deserved every dollar of that. Mm-hmm. He had created an institution in the United Kingdom that spread so far across the world that Amazon was like, no, we cannot let this go silently into the night. The BBC should not be firing you. Like, that is not something that we want to see happen. That's not something that anyone wants to see happen. So Amazon was willing to do that. Now, again, how they come up with that $1 million, I'm not really quite sure. Obviously, they have the $1 million an episode to spend. They're making they're valued at 1.7 trillion, like I said. But what if you create this and it completely flops, and now you just promised your star person $1 million an episode? You're out, let's say, $13 million right off the bat. Does that kind of get factored in? I don't know. That's interesting with streaming services.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I think it's a risk game
Yeah.
for them. It's like they have to see, like, with anything, it's a risk. Like, because you have to put money. Like, just say you filmed all these episodes, and then you release them, let's say weekly or all at once,
Yeah.
because it could bomb or not. It's not like I don't think it's like it could be like TV where or how it used to be like where they film a couple episodes in and they have to see what's going on before
Yep.
should we keep film or not.
Yeah. And TV, you've got ads to pay for everything. You've got different sponsors, supporters, all of that, who pay for those TV shows and the news broadcasters and everything like that. But I don't know. It's one of those interesting new phenomenons that we're seeing with all these streaming services coming to light. And that's one of the reasons why I now think that Venom 2 got pushed back. Sony doesn't have a streaming service yet.
Yeah.
To release Venom and not see a dime from it would be extremely detrimental to Sony Pictures. So to push it back 3 weeks, I think is a smart decision in light of everything with COVID numbers going up.
Yeah.
Personally, I would have liked it to just have them say, you know what? We don't want to risk it. We're releasing it today. Like that would have been a really cool thing to do. Let's just release it early. But obviously there's a lot of moving parts involved with that. You got to have the premiere. You got to have the red carpet. You got to do all that. You can't just say, okay, today we're doing it.
Right, you guys have to come in, Tom Hardy. You need to fly yourself in.
Yeah.
Stop what you're doing.
But the fans want it so bad. You got to be here in 4 hours. Do it or don't.
You cross halfway across the world, like we'll get a speeding jet for you.
Yeah. No worries. We'll get there in 30 minutes, no matter where you are.
We'll get there faster than Domino's.
There you go. Good to know Domino's is all the way out in California too.
Oh yeah, it is.
But yeah, it's like, again, with everything going on in comics, it's one of those things where no one's really hurting for it, really saying, you know what, this sucks that I'm not getting paid to make this. Yeah. Even independent comic writers, they're doing, the ones that I've talked to are really enjoying where they're at with how their independent comics are doing, and they're not under a big name brand like Boom or Image. Like they have their very own comics and they have that creative license. I honestly think that this is more about creative licensing than anything else. And that's what the $5 comes down to as well. With Marvel creators and paid what is valued for a story.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And the one thing that I found interesting that I have to touch on before we move on is the story, no matter the significance, no matter like the key aspect of it, is the fact that it was always $5,000. Like that was kind of shocking to me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like
go
ahead.
Oh, sorry,
I feel like if Todd McFarlane does a huge storyline, then I would give him a little bit more, or the creator of Thanos, and the creator of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. I feel like he would earn a lot more than $5,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all depends on how big the storyline was.
Yeah.
Like, especially like how big it was at the time and how big it's going to be with this. Like, of course, like the Infinity Gauntlet thing was huge. That they were playing with it for like like almost the whole 23 movies.
Yeah.
So like, I guess that person probably would have, the person who invented the Infinity Gauntlet and the Infinity Stones, maybe that creator like of that one, even that one item, probably got paid a lot more. Or
Yeah.
I would think got paid a lot more. Hopefully.
And like when Iron Man mentioned the 10 rings, did the creator of the 10 rings for Shang-Chi, and like whenever the 10 rings were first mentioned, did they get $5,000 just because it was mentioned?
Yeah, I think there's got to be like terms, like, or guidelines. It's like, what can we actually pay you for? Because mentioning something like 10 wings.
Yep.
Like, I think they'll be like, because 10 wings could be anything. Like 10 wings of what?
Yeah.
Onion wings? We don't know. It's like, I think they're like, I think it depends how specific it is. They might pay the person just by mentioning it.
Yeah.
But I think what I'm thinking is like if they actually show it in the movies, then they get paid.
Yeah. And I mean, you could have a lot of speculation of what you want to put in a movie. And like you said, we're not going to do this. We're not going to give you $5,000 until we kind of look at the final script and say, okay, this is the direction we went. We went with pieces of your storyline. Here's your $5,000. So, I mean, it's one of those interesting dynamics of turning a movie out of a book. Like creating something out of nothing is a whole lot different than creating something out of something else.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, like, as we're talking about this, like creators of like also which series. Like when we were talking about Venom, like there's Donny Cates, and then there's also what's his name? There's a senior and a junior.
James Ramita.
Yeah, Ramita. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they also James. They did cover art for Venom, and the artwork like I think it also depends like which image of Venom are we using? Who do we pay then? Do we pay Ramita Jr., Ramita Senior, or do we pay Donny Cates?
Yeah.
And that also gets tricky because there's like 4 volumes of Venom, 4 different writers, or more, 4 plus writers, 4 plus artists, or like creators, like solely the creator of Venom. Maybe he gets everything. Like, I think they really have to like define it. I think there's a lot more to that. Like we have to really delve into like if they ever release that.
And if Venom looks like the Ryan Stegman Venom and not the Mark Bagley Venom, does Mark Bagley not get paid $5,000 for using Venom? Like,
like what if
I would assume that he would.
Yeah, like if they use like the person you just mentioned, like his like if it doesn't look at that, but his Venom, but they're using a storyline in which his Venom was in, and not in the Donny Cates or Ryan Stigman Venom. Yeah, I think it can get really messy very fast. And if Marvel doesn't do it correctly, I think there could be a lot of problems. Yeah. That's what I'm guessing. Like I'm pretty sure Marvel has a lot of lawyers, or of course they do, lawyers. Yeah. Like with these things, like okay, who gets paid what?
They've
To be honest,
got
I
a
would
lot
hate to
more
be.
lawyers working right now. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like I would hate to be that to like one person in charge of
Yeah.
all that. I'd be like, oh no, my head would just explode.
So I just looked up another big franchise. Obviously, like we could talk about Lord of the Rings. That's 3 movies.
Oh yeah.
You could talk
Or
about,
and isn't it like 6 movies? Would you count
well,
the
technically
Hobbit?
6 if you do Hobbit, but
Yeah.
I don't think J.R. Tolkien is still alive, the creator
Oh,
of Lord of the Rings.
I don't think he is.
So that would be different. Um, but like then you have
Yeah, he
Divergent.
died in
That was only,
1973.
yeah. Then you have Divergent. That was only 4 movies based on 3 books. You've got Hunger
Harry
Games, again,
Potter.
4 movies based on 3 books. But something that kind of compares to Marvel is Harry Potter. So I looked up just for the Harry Potter books, the 8 of them that were made. J.K. Rowling earned about 10% for each movie. And that's the industry standard 10%, I guess, that most book writers earn when their book becomes a movie. And then when you look at books, they earn 15% for each book sold. So not only do you have to factor in the 10 and the 15%, this calculation only did 10% for each, assuming maybe she didn't make that much for the original run of it. Maybe she only made 10% and publishers got a little bit more, maybe.
Yeah.
She made, the Harry Potter franchise made $7.7 billion, which 10% of that is 770 million. Again, she's not hurting for money.
Yeah. But she
And
could
she was a
definitely.
starving artist back before Harry Potter.
Yeah, but she could definitely make a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because 15%, like that, all those words were yours. But
Yeah.
again, like you have to, of course, the publishers like it would be like if you didn't have me, this wouldn't be out. Of
Yeah.
course, like you need to pay them, and then editors
Yep.
and advertisement. But yeah, it's
And the
like
cost of creating the book, the printing.
yeah, yeah, and the
Yeah.
cover artist.
Yep.
Like I
It's
understand, like
crazy.
it baffles me, but I understand it at the same time.
Yeah.
Like you would think, like in a
Everyone's got
perfect
to get
world,
paid.
yeah, unless you have your own publishing company, unless you
Yeah.
do it all by yourself and this and this and this.
And that's what it
And
kind of sounds
yeah,
like what Substack is your own publishing company while still not having the overhead of managing your own website, doing your own marketing. Like people will come to you because they've heard of Substack and through word of mouth. And then also you're James frickin' Tynion. Like people know who you are. Your last 3 independent books are some of the top selling books right now. There's been over 500,000 copies of Something is Killing the Children that's sold. So, I mean,
yeah,
this
and
guy's
I think
not
like almost
hurting
all
for
of them
fans.
aren't they all getting a TV show or something? Like I don't
Yeah,
know about well, not A Nice House on a Lake, but I wouldn't be surprised though
not yet.
if it gets it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Something Killing Children's getting a TV show. I read an article. Department of Truth is getting one. Like
Yeah.
wow, like he's doing really well.
He writes good stuff. What can we say?
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons that I picked up Geiger. As soon as I saw it, I was like, this would be a really cool TV show.
Oh
And
yeah, definitely.
like it's one of those comics where I'm not picking it up because I want to invest in it. It's not something that I'm going to be like, oh, if this goes big like um, Walking Dead did, I'm going to be rich. I don't care that much about it. I enjoy
Same.
reading it, and I mean, if it did, and I sat there and I was sitting on these books and I wasn't reading them anymore and I really didn't want them in my collection, then I would probably sell them and put that money into my kid's college fund or whatever. But,
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things where I'm not going to lose sleep over having $1,000 book in my collection. Like I've got the first
Same.
appearance of Carnage in a 9.6. That's approaching $1,000 on a good day. I'm not going to sell it. I'm trying to get a full run of Amazing Spider-Man as much as I can. Like that's a goal of mine. I'm not getting rid
Yeah.
of one of the ones that will complete that run.
Because it's gonna be really hard to get that back.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
bought it for dirt cheap compared to what it's worth now.
Yeah, same here. Like I buy stuff that interests me, not
Yeah.
necessarily I see profit in it. Like if I see something, I like it. Like
Yeah.
I like how you mentioned like Geico could be a good movie. Like I thought so too. Like just reading it is like wow. Like for me, like when I read books and if I'm really enjoying them, or if I'm like read comic books, for some reason in the back of my mind I'm thinking, how would this work in a movie? How would
Yeah.
this look like in a movie? For some, I don't know. For me, I just do that for fun. It's like Geiger was one of those things. Like I would really love to see this even live action or animated. It'd be
100%.
cool.
This was the cover of issue 5 and it seems like a movie poster.
I
Like
was just
that's
about to
how
say
it
that.
presents.
Yeah, like these could be
Like,
movie posters.
yeah. I mean, you can see the villain, you can see the main character, you can see kind of like the little story that's happening during the movie. Every little piece of it is there.
It'd be
And
cool. Like you'd be like a glow in the dark movie poster.
yeah.
Like it has that potential. It really does.
Show up to this movie, you'll be radioactive after.
I can imagine like radioactive like advertisement. Like I'm pretty sure Mountain Dew would get on that. Radioactive drinks, slushies.
Like How I Met Your Mother. You ever watch that?
Yeah.
Tantrum,
Oh yeah.
that pop that was completely discontinued by the FDA because it was like turning people green from the inside out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that when I first saw that. That was really funny.
Yeah. But I mean, it's very cool, the comic market right now, because not only are we seeing books that have just come out like in the past 5 years selling for 1,000+ that no one would have ever thought got up there. Invincible being one of them. Something is Killing the Children being one of them. Like that's a very weird story, but it's so cool. And I've never read Something is Killing the Children, but
Same.
everyone I know who reads it loves it. And it's one of those books where, yeah, you have to be a fan of the story, like the genre. But, and I'm not a huge, I don't like reading horror books. I feel like whenever I watch a horror movie, they're very predictable. And I like there to be a twist. That's why I like more of the thriller side of horror than I do just jump scare kind of horror stuff.
Yeah, same here.
And Something is Killing the Children is one of those books I just didn't get into right away. I don't want to jump in 16 issues later. I've already got enough books here that I need to catch up on. I'm not adding more to my reading list right now. If 20 years down the line, I'm like, you know what? I want to reread Something is Killing the Children. Then I might pick it up and buy it. But
Or just wait for like the movie or the
yeah,
show.
there you go.
It's like I didn't read the Harry Potter books, but I watched the movies.
Yeah. I started reading them. I want to say I read the first 3. I was like, I'm not a huge fan. Then the movies came out. I'm like, wow, this is really interesting. But yeah. The other thing that I want to touch on before we end for tonight, I'm definitely going to be talking more about Black Widow and kind of breaking down why I believe Scarlett Johansson is the one who filed that lawsuit. If it's in other people's contract, why I think she's the one that did it. And then I'm also just going to kind of be talking more about comics. I did some really great shorts this week the one on Scarlett Johansson and Black Widow is already at like over 300 views. So thank you guys for watching that. That's definitely a huge push. It's one of those things where I love that you guys are enjoying these shorts. I just checked it right now, 764 views since Wednesday when I created that video and posted it here. Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about why and what I believe is the main reason why Venom got delayed. So that will be another little 60-second news video. I think that's what I'm going to start doing. I know that you guys are enjoying them. The one on Scarlett Johansson is definitely going to be a little bit longer. It might be 3 to 5 minutes. But yeah, that's just what it's going to be. As always, check us out on Instagram. Link AMG 2.0 is where you can find Alex. And then, as always, the Comics Lounge. Make sure you go to my Comics Lounge, not the Australian one and not the other one. There's 3 different ones. One's a comedy channel. There's mine that's a comics channel. And then there's another one that's a comics channel. Make sure you always go check out mine. It's got the Spider-Man logo on it. That's how you know it's from me. And yeah, it's been a good week. And I can't wait to see what's coming out in comics and how much fun tomorrow is going to be. I'm going to try to like get some videos of the kids at the comic book shop.
Oh, that'd be cute.
And just kind of enjoy it as a family. And yeah, it should be a good day. So yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was definitely a ton of fun talking about Free Comic Book Day, Substack, the news behind that, and just different comic creators and everything. We didn't even get to everything we were going to talk about. So make sure to tune in next week. Same time, same place, 10 p.m. Eastern. This is always a ton of fun talking to you guys, and I can't wait to talk more. Alex, you have anything to add?
No, you said it all. Like, yeah, it's always fun. Like, it's always fun how these conversations go. Yeah. Especially if they go off topic, like organically. It's funny.
For sure.
But yeah, it's really always interesting to talk more about the Scarlett Johansson Disney thing and the Black Widow.
Yeah.
And yeah, like I hope everyone has a great weekend. Make sure you get a lot of comics. And share with us next week. How did it go? Was there any? Did you comment? Like, I would love to hear. Like, what comic shops did what?
Yeah.
Like for the 20th anniversary.
I know mine this week or tomorrow, I should say. Pretty much whenever they have a big event, they do half off, like $5 or $6 and under. 15% off all the stuff above that, like $8 and $10.
Nice.
And then my shop owner throws in so many discounts. All new books instead of 20% off or 25% off. So it's basically like buy 4 get 1 free almost.
Nice.
So yeah, it's amazing. But yeah. I can't wait to, like Alex said, I can't wait to see what you guys picked up. If you ever want to join us live, message us on Instagram. Let us know that you want to join us. And if you're just joining us now, make sure to go back and watch the replay because we're almost done.
Yeah.
But it was good to see you, Alex. Good talking. I'm guessing
Chris.
Ryan's going to be joining us again next week. But hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on it again.
Of course. Have a good night.
You too. Bye, everyone.